Well, it is a tradition here at Time to share a toast. And we are thrilled to have Maker's Mark with us tonight as our pouring partner. Okay, this is a brand that is co-founded by a woman that celebrates spirited women through its bold vision and female powership. Thank you. So, would you please raise a glass, and I will raise mine of Maker's Mark, and join me in a toast to this year's fabulous Women of the Year. Please, Time Women of the Year, stand. I want all of you to stand. Come on. I think we have all 16 women here tonight. That's a record for Time. Congratulations. Okay, you can sit now.
Oh my God. This night is always a highlight of my year. My co-editor, Kate, and I feel so lucky that working on projects like the 2026 Women of the Year list is our job. And we're truly thrilled that every single one of our extraordinary honorees is here with us tonight. Each of you leads in a distinct way through art, science, business, athletics, advocacy, and service, and we are so fortunate to be in your presence. So, congratulations and welcome to Cheryl Lee Ralph. Amy Sherald. Keisha Steelman. Mariska Hargitay. Izada Dumboya, Safina Hussein, Manur Omer, Teyana Taylor, Chloé Zhao, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, Reshma Kewalramani, Lucy Liu, Brandi Carlile, and Sister Norma Pimentel. And Mel Robbins. And Reshma Sajani. Forgive me. Table 4, forgive me. Oh my God. Wow. Take a minute to recover. On a more sentimental note, I must confess that my favorite part of this project and this one magical night that brings us all together is completely self-serving. The world can be a dark place sometimes, or a lot of the time. The news is heavy. Around the world, our rights are being threatened and taken away. And then there are the struggles that we face in our personal lives as daughters, mothers, partners, friends, and colleagues. You never know what someone may be going through. We all carry so much, especially as women, and too often we do so in silence. So when we come together every year, and I get to look into the eyes of these incredible, inspiring women whose stories I've pored over for months, and see the joy and the recognition and pride in their faces, I feel an almost indescribable sense of peace.
Thank you.
You, the Women of the Year, make me feel like it's all going to be okay.
Oh, it is.
Thank you, Cheryl. Like, we can do this, because if anyone can make the world a better place, it's women. and you are each, in your own way, lighting the path. So thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our first toast of the evening, a record-breaking Olympic champion who embodies the very spirit of persistence. She burst onto the scene at 17 as one of the youngest athletes ever to make the U.S. Olympic track and field team. Though she didn't reach the podium that first year, she turned early promise into extraordinary achievement, winning gold in Tokyo and Paris and breaking record after record along the way. With discipline, clarity, and purpose, she continues to redefine her sport as she sets her eyes on the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Please welcome six-time world record holder, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone.
Thank you, guys. So excited to be here. I am the one who was running on the video, and sometimes I jump over things, so I'm excited to be here. But as a young girl, I was often fixated on the idea of perfection. There was a part of me that was never quite satisfied with any job I had done, the way I looked, or how I presented myself socially. Despite external success, this chase for completeness always left an emptiness in my heart. From making my first Olympic team 10 years ago, which is crazy, to breaking the world record 6 times, and now preparing to welcome my first child. That hunger has yet to be fully satiated. It seemed no matter how much I strived, dedicated, and sacrificed, the finish line always seemed to elude me. For a long time, that was a demoralizing feeling to live with, this sobering reality that I, in and of myself, am not enough. In today's culture, even saying something like that could be taken as a form of self-hate, but it has actually been the most freeing reality I have ever embraced. I no longer feel an internal pressure to be perfect, but instead, a drive to simply pursue excellence in whatever it is that I do. Even if the mark I meet falls short, it's all about the pursuit. So to put it plainly, what inspires me is the pursuit of excellence. No longer perfection, but a sure and steady effort towards excelling in whatever it is I set my mind to do. Striving for excellence in my eyes is not about gratifying my ego or satisfying a need to be loved and affirmed by others, but instead it's a joyful endeavor to submit to the reality that I'm not perfect and to look to the one who is for strength. As a woman of faith, my hope in Christ provides a security that ensures my shortcomings are not my identity. So whether I win or lose a race, whether I am the same athlete stepping back onto the track after this pregnancy or not, my values are secure in Christ. It is from that security that I am able to pursue all that I do with intensity. Colossians 3:23 and 24 says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." I'm beyond grateful to be recognized as one of Time's Women of the Year. And I will continue to strive towards pushing the bounds of what's possible, to keep advancing marks on the track and to inspire my future daughter, which is, you guys are the first to know it's a girl. Yes. As well as every other young woman watching, that you can be deeply feminine and fearless at the same time. But most importantly, to give glory to God who has given me a gift. It is my responsibility to use it for his glory and the good of others. Thank you.
Good evening, all. Should we do it again? Good evening, all. Good evening. What a grand venue. What a gorgeous room. What amazing people. Growing up as an immigrant kid in New York, I did not think being on the stage was on my bingo card. My family moved here when I was about 11 years old. We were the kind of family that took nothing for granted. Our remote controls for the TV, we put them in plastic. Not to make it nice for others, but so it would last a little bit longer. Books, though, were different. We wanted to read them. The more frayed it was, the more used it was, the better it was. Every week, I remember when I was about 13 or 14 years old, we went to King Cullen, the local grocery store in our neighborhood in New York. And every week, we would buy one volume of Encyclopedia Britannica. By the end of the year, we had the whole set. And that set sat on our shelf like a treasure. And it was heavy. Heavy with pages, but even heavier with possibility. My parents wanted us to be doctors, my brother and I. And the reason they wanted that is they wanted stability. They wanted us to be people of repute in society, and they wanted us to give back. And my brother and I actually are both physicians. However, that would have been more than enough for my parents. That's all they wanted is kids who became doctors. But I accidentally became a CEO along the way, and that's what I do. I ended up being the first female CEO of a big biotech company. I've been doing that job for a little while, and it is not what my parents wanted for me, and frankly, it is not what I wanted for myself. The reason my parents didn't want it for me is because they didn't know any CEOs. The reason I didn't want it for myself is I didn't know that that path existed. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't drive. It wasn't skill. It wasn't ability. I just didn't know. If I had known, I would have actually tried to be what I am today. Mentors opened possibilities, and they saw in me what I did not see in myself. I'm going to tell you 3 quick stories about what I do. Science is really cool. The first story is about cystic fibrosis. It's a rare disease, but it's a common rare disease. 5 Feet Apart was a movie made about cystic fibrosis. It's when your lungs get filled with gunk. And when I was in medical school, I'm not that old, they told us that you would die when you're 27 to 30 years old. Medicines that the company makes today allows people with cystic fibrosis, the model data tells us, they're going to live north of 70 years of age. A second disease, sickle cell disease. It's a genetic disease that affects Black people and people from the Middle East and Asia. In your body, there are 20 billion cells that have genetic code. There are 20 billion base pairs. One is wrong, just one. We can take your cells out. We send it to our labs. We do an edit with something called CRISPR-Cas9, and we bring your cells back to you. It is a virtual, functional cure for this disease. The science, 2 women, Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuelle Charpentier, they received the Nobel in 2019. The third story, also of science. Pain medicines, like opioids, they take care of pain, but they also lead to addiction. Last year, the US FDA approved a medicine from the company where it works on the peripheral nervous system. It's a fancy way of saying it doesn't have addiction potential. And that medicine has served over 400,000 patients to date. That is science. I give a big shout out to all the women in the room who are being recognized today. I give an even bigger shout out to the women who are not in this room, to the women and girls who are living their life unabashedly the way they want to in the arts, in science and STEM, in athletics. They are doing what they want to do. regardless of if others thought they could or they should. Events like this are really important because they show others what's really possible. And I'll leave by saying, I know that my parents in Allentown, Pennsylvania tonight are holding their issue of Time magazine, and I am sure they are putting it in plastic. Congratulations to all.
Hey, y'all. All right, Auntie got her cue cards because I ain't got my glasses to see the teleprompter, so mine ain't gonna sound as fancy as everybody else, okay? So, oh, y'all made the words bigger for me. Thank you. And I still can't see. So I'm gonna go and use my little cue cards, but do say time, you know, look cute. But seriously, they told me I got 2 minutes. If I go a little bit over, just please don't put no music on me. They told me I got 2 minutes to talk about myself. But I didn't want to take that 2 minutes to talk about myself. I wanted to talk about us. So when I call your name, can you just please stand up, please? Okay. Amy, stand up. Amy, is Amy here? Is Amy here? Hey. Brandi, Chloé, Asada, Keisha, Lucy, Manor, Mariska, Mel, Reshma, Safina, Cheryl, oh my gosh, Cheryl. Sister Norma and Sydney, can you please stand up? All right. Now, if you would have told me, 15-year-old me from Harlem, that one day I would be standing here amongst all of you at the Time Woman of the Year Gala, I would tell God, don't threaten me with a good time. This is too good to be true, honestly, and I thank you so much, and I'm just so honored that I get to just be here with you all tonight, and honestly, every other amazing woman that is sitting here as well. This honor isn't about perfection. It's about evolution. It's about growth. It's about every time we had to pivot, every time we had to bet on ourselves, every time we chose peace over pressure and purpose over popularity. Being named Women of the Year doesn't mean you did it alone. It means you were surrounded by other women who held you up, checked you, prayed for you. Thank you. I knew I was spitting when I wrote this. I was like, oh, that's a bar. But yeah. All right, y'all, stop playing. Let me find my place. Let me find my way. Better yourself. And purpose over popularity. Being named Women of the Year doesn't mean you did it alone. Oh, I did all that part already, okay. Surrounded by women. Okay, who held you up, checked you, prayed for you, collaborated with you, inspired you, and sometimes lovingly telling you, sit your ass down and rest. Because we as women are always expected to be super mom, super lover, super daughter, super aunt, super friend, and super leader. We always have to be super. And I commend every single woman in here, all of us, for handling that with grace, even when it hurts. So tonight, I'm not just celebrating myself, I'm celebrating every woman in this room who is building something, breaking something, healing something, or becoming something. So here's to the women who create without asking permission, to the women who mother the world and still chase their own dreams, to women who reinvent themselves without an apology, to women who walk in, thank you, to women who walk in rooms that weren't built for them and redesign them anyway. This is our time. And before I finish this out, can all the women in this room stand up, please? That's right, you stand up too, girl. You back there too. Fellas, this ain't your moment, sit down. I seen some guys stand up, this ain't your moment, sit down. This is ladies' night. This is our time, not because someone gave it to us, but because we claimed it. So let's toast to resilience, to reinvention, to soft hearts but strong spines. Let's toast to doing it scared but doing it anyway. And most importantly, let's toast to each other. I love you. I see you. Thank you so much. And sorry for my mess ups. I was nervous, y'all.
Wow, thank you all for being here. It is hard not to be struck by the strength and the resolve that we see across this room tonight. Alongside Lucy Feldman, who you should all know is the human definition of the word extraordinary. She definitely deserves that round of applause. I am one of the editors of Women of the Year. I trace the fact that I am here with you all tonight back to something my mom did when my sisters and I were little. Every year, as soon as we were old enough to read, she made a tradition of filling our bookshelves with the biographies of incredible women. Rosa Parks, Clara Barton, Dolores Huerta. Decades later, I still carry with me a few handful of truths that I learned through those books. 1, we are each a part of a larger story. 2, our actions help shape its outcome. And 3, how we tell this story is itself a vehicle for change. I know this last truth is something my colleagues at Time feel as deeply as I do. And looking out at the room tonight, I see so many incredible examples of these truths in our honorees. I'm excited for your stories to one day line our daughters' bookshelves. I have the great honor now of introducing our next honoree, who embodies these ideals and so many more. Through the Humanitarian Respite Center she founded in McAllen, Texas, she has provided shelter, food, and medical care to over 100,000 migrants seeking safety. When her federal funding was pulled in November of last year, the work did not stop. Faith institutions and nonprofits stepped in, helping her organization expand its mission and continue to serve. Today, it ensures hundreds of its neighbors don't go hungry by serving them meals in their moment of need. You can see why the late Pope Francis called her his favorite nun. Please join me in welcoming 2026 Time Woman of the Year, Sister Norma Pimentel.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Thank you for this honor, Mark. Gracias. And all of you for recognizing the importance of who we can be by caring for others. People who truly, really appreciate our presence to make a difference in their lives, to give them a chance in life. And so this is why I'm here today, because thousands and thousands of people have really been there for me to say, with the moment I see them, is, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? And in that moment, they break into tears because for the very first time in a very long journey that they travel with their families and their children struggling through life, somebody actually noticed them and saw them and said, you matter. So tonight I was asked to say, what gives me hope? So what gives me hope for the future are people I have the privilege to have walked alongside every day, especially the families and the children who arrive at the border after journey and filled with uncertainty and a lot of hardships. When you listen to their stories, you realize something very important. Cada historia es un rostro. Every single face has, every single person, every single story has a face. You see their dignity that God has given them to every single human being. Many of the families I meet lost so much along the way. They have left their homes, they have left their communities, and sometimes even members of their families, simply because they wanted their children to live without fear. And yet, even after everything that they endured, they arrived with hope. They arrived believing that tomorrow can be better than today. Their courage inspires me a lot I often say that our work is about restoring human dignity, because the moment that we actually had the opportunity to welcome them, their life is transformed just because we show them that we care. It's about recognizing that every person matters and that no one should be treated as an invisible. When we welcome someone, we listen. When we accompany them in their moment of vulnerability, we are reminding them that their life has value. Scripture reminds us, the Gospel of Matthew, that I was a stranger and you welcomed me. That invitation continues to guide my life and my work and who I am. The people who inspire me the most, not so much the famous and the powerful, but they are the mothers who keep walking for the sake of their children, the fathers who refuse to give up on their families, and the volunteers and the communities who choose to have compassion, people who are willing to share themselves to help others. When I see that courage, that generosity, I know that hope is still very much alive in our world today, and that is what we need today. Muchas gracias.
Hello. Hi. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi. Time Magazine, thank you for this honor, and thank you for being here tonight. So I was asked to talk about someone or something that inspires me and gives me hope for the future. Lately, I'm trying to try this thing about being present and see what comes through. And that's why I have this book. And I just happened to be on a road trip, at the end of a road trip. So I was at the Sequoia National Forest a few hours ago. And I went there to see a tree, the oldest tree in the world, 2,700 years old. She had a name, but I like to call her grandmother. To get to her, though, I had to drive through patches of forest that are completely burned down. I felt very emotional knowing that these giant sequoias are likely not going to be here anymore. They're facing unprecedented danger from high severity wildfires that already killed thousands of them and that has survived for thousands of years. So when I get to the trail, I was feeling very restless, knowing that this is the first time and very well be the last time that I see this tree, this ancient being, this elder, this keeper of ancestral memory. However, once I stood in front of her, I didn't feel like crying. The rage and the grief and the confusion went away. I was at peace, because she stood there for almost 3,000 years, watching everything around her being born, dying, and being born again. With a gentle indifference, in that moment, inspired a tender surrender in me. One of the reasons why these wildfires are so extreme lately, especially in the last decade, actually is because of fire suppression. Extinguishing all fires actually makes the middle part of the trees grow very dense, so it serves as like a ladder fuel, carrying fire into the giant vulnerable crowns. So the paradox of not letting something die, of suppressing destruction, while meant to protect, made the forest more vulnerable. Nature gives and also takes. The grandmother tells me as I put my hands onto the soil beneath her, "Child, neither her or I, or everything and everyone I ever loved and cared for, cannot escape this cycle. And the attempt to transcend death, to avoid being taken, will only create psychic, emotional, spiritual congestion in a forest, in a person, and in a society. All living things must die, passing through nature to eternity. I may never see this grandmother again, but I'm glad I get to speak about her tonight and to thank her for her wisdom and for giving me hope that nature will always find its way. Surrender, child, she says, let go. Let what needs to die, die, and clear the space for a new story to come through. Remember, the end is the beginning. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Chloé, that was so poetic and beautiful. And I am just so thrilled to be in this room with all of you tonight. So many friends and so many new friends. I am honored tonight to introduce an artist that I have admired for a very long time. I have been a humongous fan of Brandi's for years, and I continue to be moved by the clarity and the depth of her music. And over the course of her career, as we all know, she has built a body of work defined by her emotional honesty, her musical range, and basically this fearless storytelling. And she's able to move effortlessly between folk, Americana, rock, and country. She writes songs that are intimate, and they feel present and expansive at the same time. And there's a directness to her storytelling. It's about longing, these are the things that we feel: resilience, grief, love, truth. That is not something easy to find. And to me, that's something that's grounded and incredibly fearless. A multiple Grammy Award winner. She's respected not just for her extraordinary voice, but for her songwriting, her commitment to collaboration, and she's written and performed alongside some of the most iconic artists in the world, while still using her platform to elevate emerging artists and champion equity in the music industry. But what stands out most about Brandi is her integrity and the intention that she puts behind everything she does. So there's something obviously very deliberate and human about her work. And in this culture that is moving very quickly with technology, with news, with false news, her work represents something enduring. Her craft, the substance of it, the conviction. Your music reminds us that storytelling, whether through film, journalism, or song, has the power to connect us and to make us feel seen and understood. So please welcome Brandi Carlile. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. You left before I could kiss you. Thank you. That was really lovely. My name is Brandi Carlile. I got 2 daughters. One of them is 8, and she's a very funny little girl. She's a comedian. She kind of blows my whole tortured comedian trope out of the water. Because she's never had a hard day in her life, but she's really funny. And then my oldest daughter, she's 11, and she is complicated. That child, she was sent here to make me question everything I ever believed in. And just turn it on its head, like, yeah, that's what she does. And she's contrary and serious and pious. God, she's pious. But yeah, she started by being born to 2 mothers on Father's Day. So that's how this started. She's like, none of this is gonna go how you want it to go, honey. And that hasn't changed. That is not, that energy has not changed since the moment that she came into this world. And she'd be here right now, and after hearing these women speak and the impact you're making on the world, I so wish they were here to have seen this. But she's insisted on being the only girl on a boys' baseball team at home. And again, I was so worried about that because I was like, I didn't know if they were going to be nice to her. I didn't know if it was like, it's not going anywhere, Mark. It's not like it's going to get her through college or anything, I thought. Because it's baseball and they don't do girls' baseball teams. And she says, Mom, that's exactly why I need to be on the boys' team, because I will start one. And by the time I'm big and by the time I'm grown up, there will be a women's baseball team. So that's what it's about. Those are the moments where they choose themselves, and it's jarring, it's shocking, and you've never been more devastated, and you've never been more proud at the same time.
Another round of applause for Brandi and for all the women here tonight. Oh my God. Extraordinary. Oh, my heart is like pounding. That was so incredible. This evening has just been so powerful, so beautiful. Thank you all for being here. I just want to say thank you again to our honorees. Your stories, your leadership, your courage, you are so inspiring, truly, truly. Tonight we celebrated achievement and resilience and community. Let's just take that energy with us and go forth. To the Time team and our partners, thank you so much for the care and commitment that make a night like this possible. And before we wrap, I'd love to invite all of our honorees and Kate and Jess on stage for a quick class photo. And then we'll all head downstairs for the after party. So thank you.